Hey guys, Faisal here. Welcome back to another episode of developing a mobile app using React Native and Expo. In the previous previous episode, we went ahead and added the styles to our skeleton structure, so it made our components more pretty, more readable. So we can see the text input there, and also our empty list here. What we'll do in this episode is add the actual functionality of the app. So if we go slightly to the top, just under app, we're going to add some states. And now these states are essentially variables which React uses. And the reason you need to declare it as a state is so that every time we update it, the DOM updates and it updates in real time. So let's go ahead and create it. So you need to const squared bracket, and we'll do to do and set to do is equal to use state, like that, and then it's double single speech mark. Now to do is our actual variable which will hold our value, and in this case that value will be whatever is typed in this text input, and set to do is what will set the value of this state of this variable here, and we will use this whenever we want to clear the contents of this text input. So the next one we want to add is to do focus, and set to do focus equal to use state, and by default will be false. So every time we click into our text input, it's going to set this focus variable to true, and when we click off, we'll set it to false. So then we do const, and now items, and set items is equal to use state. I will give that an empty array, square brackets like that. And this will store our to-do items. It'll only store it temporarily, so if you close the app and reopen it, it won't save, but that's fine for now. So once we've done that, let's go ahead and add a few extra functionalities to the input, or a few more parameters. So let's go to text input, and first thing, let's add the value which is equal to do. So that's the value that will be stored into the whenever we enter something in text input, it will be stored into to-do variable, or the value will be shown from the to-do variable, and we store it by doing onChange text is equal to set to do. So every time we change the value in the text input, it's now going to get saved into to do. And then we want to do the placeholder is equal to add your to do here. So now this is going to add a nice little text here that's more that tells you what to do. It's not as readable, so we'll also change the color of that. First things first, let's do on focus is going to be equal to smooth brackets and set to do focus to true, and then we're also going to do on blur is equal to the same function, set to do focus, but this time to false. So on focus will be whenever we click into here, it's going to set the to do focus to true, and when we click out, it's going to set it to false. Next, let's do the placeholder text color, and that is equal to, we'll make it a slightly dark grayish, so 7070, hashtag 7070. And let's add a return key type is equal to done, and on, well, we ignore the on submit edit for now, and also blur on submit is equal to false. Right, so once we click here, what happens is you see this return key type done is going to display here. It's done now. Now it's not going to blur whenever we click done, which is a good sign. Yep, so that's what blur on submit does. And so now that we've done that, let's add some functionality. So whenever we click here, it's going to highlight this input as blue. And to do that, we want to go to our style, and we want to just add a if statement here. So we're going to do curly brackets and then drop it down. We're going to use the spread operator to take the contents of styles.todo input and put it back into this object. And then we're going to use another spread operator, but this time we're going to do smooth brackets, and we're going to say to do focus question mark styles.todo input focus else curly brackets. So what this is saying is this is a ternary if statement. It's exactly the same as an if statement. It's basically saying if true, then do this, else, right? This is the else, do this. Right, in our case, we're doing if to do focus is equal to true, then we want to do styles.todo input focus, and that's the style which had our blue border in there. And if it isn't true, then it'll just do an empty style instead. So when we click here now, you see the border focus is actually blue now. So it kind of indicates, hey, this is a this has been selected. Yep. So, and that is because we've done the color style. Where is it gone? Here, that's it. So now that we've done that, let's add a little extra functionality. A few more things. So in our flat list, let's do data is equal to items. At the moment it's empty. Let's do render item is equal to our render item function we created in the last video, and our key extractor. So key extractor just tells us what's the ID of our item itself. We'll just do a simple function, item arrow function, and we'll just do item.id. And then our item separator component is going to be this one here. I think we call it item separator. That's it. And our list empty component is going to be list empty, just like that. So now you can see it's brought up this text, and that is because the list is actually empty now. Okay, so we're getting there. We just need to add some extra functionality. So let's go above our render item function, just here, and let's do const add to do equal to arrow function. And first thing first, we'll do an if statement. So if to do dot trim is equal to blank string, then we'll just return. So what this is saying is if our to do is blank, then we're not gonna add a to do because it's a blank to do. Next thing, let's set items, and inside of here we're gonna do squared brackets, and we're gonna do the same thing which we did with spread operator, items. And what we're basically saying is take all the contents of items and put it inside of here, plus we're going to do a comma, and we're going to bring in a new item at the very end of the list, and we'll do id is items.length. So if there is 0 items in the items array, then that length is 0. If there is 1 item, then the id is 1, 2, etc. Yeah, so that keeps it somewhat unique. And then we'll do the to do as to do, like that. And then once that is done, just underneath we're going to add set to do to blank. So once we've added the to do, we'll clear the input afterwards. And then let's also create our remove functionality. So const remove to do is going to be equal to item arrow function and set items, and here we want to do items dot filter, and we want to do arrow function to do dot id is not equal to item dot id. So the item that's going to be provided is the item in the list, and if the id does not match, then we'll keep that item but remove the ones that does match, right? So if item.id matches to do.id, then remove that item from the list. So this filter is essentially saying give me everything that doesn't have the same id as item.id. Alright, so once we've done that, let's scroll down, and inside of our render item, where is it? There is. Inside of our pressable, let's go ahead and add a few parameters here. So that is on press is equal to curly brackets, and we'll do an arrow function, and we want to do remove to do, and we just put item there like that. Yep. And that is whenever the trash icon comes up, it'll run this function. And then the next thing is in our text input, there is. In our text input, we want to go ahead and add a Is it in text input? No, not in text input. Actually, yeah, we do want to do in text input too. So when we hit submit on the keyboard, the done button, we also want to add a to do. So we do on submit editing is equal to curly brackets, add to do, like that. And then also for our button, we want to do on press is equal to add to do, like that. Yep. So that should be all of our functionality. So if we start adding a to do, like let's say buy groceries, and press enter, there we go, we've got our item added in. Add another to do, spelled that wrong, but that's fine, spelled wrong. Okay, so let's get rid of the one spelled wrong. We can hit the trash and it'll delete it. There you go, guys. That is a quick to do app made using React Native and Expo.dev. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like below and hit subscribe, and just let me know in the comments below if you want to see a specific app made or specific project made, and I'll definitely give it a shot. Thanks for watching, guys, and catch you guys in the next videos.